Hello, everybody. Right now, I'd like to talk to you about the New York mayor race. First thing I'm going to do before I talk about the race specifically and the results, Mamdani won the primary, and it's huge, but I'm going to talk about money first. And not just any type of money, but the amount of money that it takes to run a campaign for maybe a congressional seat and then a Senate seat. So I can put this into context for you. Zohran Mamdani won the first round of the New York primary for mayor against Chris Cuomo, the former governor. And prior to the votes being counted, about 97-98%, he was in front of him by about 7 points. Now they have ranked choice voting, and at the time I read that, the ranked choice votes had not been counted. And for those of you who don't know what ranked choice voting means, it just means the people in the primary vote for two people. So a lot of people that voted for Zohran Mamdani will put somebody else on their list, and then vice versa. So everybody voted for two candidates, and that's just the way it worked. So the final results will come in soon. Frankly, as somebody who's from the state of Michigan, I do understand multiple rounds of primaries. I think it's freaking stupid. I think he's just won, get it over with, move forward, but whatever. That's not the world we live in. We have multiple different primaries for multiple different reasons, and it's the way that New Yorkers want to live. I am for it. So moving on. Money. Why is this such a big deal, and why is so many people on the right completely melting down on this one? Well, because the moderate Democrats economically are actually conservative. Now, in our Overton window, they're considered liberals, but they're socially liberal conservatives, which is fine. I don't agree with a lot of what they're doing, but that's okay. You're allowed to hold those values. See, the thing is the progressives are actually center lefties, and they're actually centrists. They're not really as far left as you're actually going to find, even though the term far left gets used quite often. In the Overton window, people that are usually for subsidizing things like healthcare, education, basically the stuff in the American progressive agenda. You'll see it in places like Europe. It's just called regular old liberalism. It's not called socialism. Even though they are social democrats, it's really just center leftism. There is no far leftism. They're not communists. And they're not socialists either. And if you didn't know that, congratulations. You do now. So why is this a big deal? Because the amount of money that conservatives spent on Chris Cuomo winning was actually more than it would have cost, well, they take that back. It's about as much as it cost to win a U.S. Senate seat in a purple state, like mine, the state of Michigan. It could take up to $10 to $15 million to win a seat in the state of Michigan. Well, maybe it's going to be 20-30. If you really look at the last... It can keep going, and it's going to keep going up. So they spent as much money to win an entire Senate race on the first round of a mayor race in a major city. What does that say? If conservatives felt like they had this, they wouldn't have spent the money. Because people with money, what they don't like doing is letting other people have it. So if they're going to go through all that trouble to make sure he wins, they felt that he needed the help. So Mamdani, he was able to get donors and break records of numbers of donors that ranged for about $80 each. And he was able to match his fundraising. I don't know how much, at least that's what he said in speeches. I didn't really check into the numbers, but the fact is, independent New York voters and a lot of younger people, younger males, people involved into trades, civil servant workers, and working class people united and voted for Zohran Mamdani. This is exactly what you want to do if you're a Democrat. The exact demographics that you wanted to target won, and you got them to vote for you. This is good. The not so good lining to this is pretty much it's a blue city. So you did what you should have done. But still, it's a start, and the Democratic Party was able to get the voters they needed to get voted. The Democratic Party was able to target and get the types of people that they are targeting to come out and vote in a primary. Good news. Now, the Democratic Party leadership, this is a loss for them, which is a win for me, and it's a win for the left-wing progressive movement. Because here's the deal. You can't spend $25 million on a first round of a primary and expect to win without owing people for all the $25 million you get. See, the thing is, when people lobby, they get to have something in return. And when you spend that much money, you get to ask for more in return. So what he was going to basically do, in my opinion, was go through the same center-right politics but social liberal BS that we've seen 1,000 times before. Of course, when Trump would do something stupid, he'd get his little grandstanding and he'd absolutely make some headlines with saying what he needed to say and taking Trump down and getting his viral moments. But at the same thing, he was just going to keep the same broken status quo system of economics that's leading us into our problems now. And why do I say the same problems? 60% of the people in this country are not able to actually participate within the economy wisely because they're living paycheck to paycheck. So when you have most people are in bad economic conditions, your economy is bad. So that's one of the things that you're trying to do in politics is you have to acknowledge that, and you have to change the politics to change the number of people that aren't really able to participate in the economy. The moderate Democrats want to keep things the same. Keeping things the same and letting the working class people and middle class flicker away is rising the tensions, and it's leading to people to vote for really the reactionary strongmen that we're getting today. So anyway, what's the conclusion? It's not really the best of news. It's just one round, but the progressives beat the reactionary machine, and that's a victory.